Good morning. Welcome to the Rotary Club of Hudson. My name is Marilyn Orr, President of the club, and we are thrilled to have you join us today. This meeting broadcast is available on HCTV, as well as our Rotary of Hudson YouTube channel and Facebook. Our club meets weekly using this digital platform, Zoom. When we meet in person, it's at Laurel Lake Retirement Community for breakfast. We hope to get back to that soon. We meet most Wednesday mornings from 7:15 to 8:30 a.m. So come out to join us for a meeting. We would love to have you as a guest. To learn more about Rotary, our club, and the impact we are having on our local community and the world, please visit our website, rotaryhudson.org. So enjoy this meeting today and help us share the message that Rotary opens doors of opportunity.
And we're ready.
Good morning, Rotarians and guests, and a special welcome to our scholarship winners, teachers, parents, and everyone else who's watching this. It was such a privilege to be able to interview the scholarship winners in person this year, see what they look like while they're telling us their stories. So it's great to have all of you with us. Our invocation this morning is by Jim Young.
Good morning, Rotarians and guests. Memorial Day has just passed, but I'd like to read a little quick thing to honor the soldiers that lay down their lives, and then a short prayer. In the words of American historian Stephen Ambrose, it is the soldier, not the poet, who gave us the freedom of speech. It is the soldier, not the reporter, who gives us the freedom of the press. It is the soldier, not the campus organizer, who gives us the freedom to protest. It's the soldier who serves beneath the flag, who salutes the flag, and whose coffin is draped with the flag, who gives the demonstrators the freedom to burn the flag. Let us pray. Father, we ask your blessing upon the souls of those men and women who gave their last breath in defense of our nation, our freedom, and our children's future. We ask that you bless everyone gathered here today and grant us the strength to rise to the challenges of our time and meet them in the full faith that you will always be with us. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Jim. And to lead us in the pledge and the four-way test this morning, Jim Lang.
Good morning, Rotarians and guests. Join me in the Pledge of the Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible with liberty and justice for all. And now the four-way test of the things we think, say, and do. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? And will it be beneficial to all concerned?
Thank you, Jim. And now our president, Marilyn Orr.
Good morning, Rotarians and guests. This is one of my favorite meetings of the entire year. But before we get started, we have just a little bit of Rotary business to do. Next Saturday, our Rotary Club members will be putting in a volunteer morning, cleaning the swimming pool area at Camp Manitowoc, and getting the area ready for an active summer of Scout swimming. Rich Warfield is looking for a good turnout. There are lots of jobs, big and small. We'll be meeting at the pool area at 8:30 in the morning, and the Scouts have promised to feed us too. Next week, we'll be inducting and interviewing our newest Rotary member, Dr. Patricia Getz. John Adams has been reviewing her bio, and we're all going to get to know her much better then. Also next week, we will hold the club board meeting immediately following this Zoom meeting. It is expected to start at 8:30 and to conclude promptly at 9:30. I'd also like to extend a very special welcome to the family of Thomas O. Page. Dottie, his widow, Steve, his brother, are on this call this morning. Tom was the president of this Rotary Club in 2012 to 2013. He was also honored as the Rotarian of the Year by his peers. And I'd like to tell you just a little bit more about him, and I think you will clearly understand why this year's scholarships have been named in his honor. This is something new. We haven't honored a Rotarian in this way before, but this year, in this time, it just felt right. Tom was born in Chicago and graduated from high school in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And during high school, he was a decorated three-sport athlete, as his football team's quarterback, baseball team's catcher, and a guard on the basketball team. During his senior year, he helped his baseball team to the Milwaukee City League title and was named the team's outstanding player and earned all city honors. He kept strong relationships with many of those high school friends and especially looked forward to summer reunions playing golf back in Wisconsin. He played freshman football and baseball at Western Michigan University and then suffered a terrible, terrible incident, and a shoulder injury took much of that promise away. But it didn't stop him. He transferred to the University of Wisconsin-Whitewater, and it was there that the most wonderful thing happened. He met his wife, Dottie, and they married in 1968. 2 boys were born to their union, and he taught biology for 5 years and coached high school baseball. And in addition, he often worked a second jobs to support that young family. Teachers didn't make very much back then. Tom was always a hardworking husband and father who put his family first. And after teaching, he began a career in manufacturing and was a very successful plant manager for many companies, including Bucera, Alice Chalmers, General Dynamics, and the Donaldson Company. They arrived in Hudson in the year 2000, and he joined Rotary shortly after. He later helped organize the investors to purchase the Stowe plant from the Donaldson Corporation and renamed that company Falls Filtration Technologies, and it's a thriving company even now. As the president of that company, Tom and his leadership, they turned it into a profitable company that always took excellent care of his employees. That was so like Tom. He just took excellent care of everyone. The lesson learned here is that you can start at one place and successfully create new opportunities for yourself despite the hardships you might face. He was humble, he persevered, he always kept his promises. He had a great sense of humor and a strong faith. He was loyal and generous. And Tom enjoyed mentoring high school students through Rotary and his church. He was a great representative of our club, a great friend to us all, and we lost him too soon to COVID-19 last October. He was only 75. I only have one thing to say: be like Tom. And with that, we're now going to turn it over to Dr. Dan Williams and learn more about the exciting, adventurous life ahead for our scholarship winners. Dr. Dan, take it away.
Thanks, Marilyn. That was a very nice tribute to Tom. Very, very well done. Well, your scholarship committee, which consists of Catherine Sines, Ron Strobel, and myself, Dan Williams, is proud to present the 6 winners of the $3,000 2021-22 Thomas O. Page scholarships. Each of these students will be attending one of the Ohio State universities this fall. Each of the 6 students will be introduced by a teacher who has had a significant influence on their lives. Then the students will talk with us and give us some insight on their lives and what they would see in the future for themselves. If you have any questions, I suggest you put them in a chat box and we will address them after the students speak. Well, you didn't come to hear me, you came to hear the students. So let's get started. Our first student, Nate Nurchel, will be presented by Sue Conroy, who is an AP biology teacher at Hudson High School. Sue?
Good morning, everyone. I'm here to speak about Nathan, and he's a very hardworking, intelligent, motivated, determined young man with a strong desire to succeed. He is friendly, trusting, honest, and warm. He easily deals with change, and knows how to rise to any occasion. Nathan has a great sense of humor and is well liked by his peer group. He is not afraid to try something new or even laugh at himself. He has learned that hard work can pay off and does pay off. I met Nathan when he was a freshman in my honors biology class 4 years ago. He was quiet, yet he participated in daily class discussions. He was always polite and thoughtful to all other students around him. He was kind to help any student in lab, even when he had more personally productive things to do with his time. These are very commendable traits to display, especially as a freshman. And now, 3 years later, as he has completed AP Biology, he is was once again in my class. The emergent Nathan is just as cordial as when he was a freshman, but he is much more confident, mature, and polished in his stature. He regularly attempts to make connections from what we are learning to the real world. He is not here just to memorize material for the sake of a test, but more so to put it into application, into which someday he wants to major in the sciences. But in all honesty, Nathan does not need my class. He is more into the mechanics of physics, but here he did take AP Biology with me. I am both honored and humbled at the same time. But this is not about me. It is about an adventurous young man who is willing to go above and beyond the norm. Whether it's with Boy Scouts, friends, or school, Nathan's character is what we are looking at. He is very well-rounded and he cares about the people around him. He's making connections and attempting and will make a world a better place to live. I want to thank him for the opportunity that he's allowed me to push him as well as to continue to grow. His open-mindedness and commitment to understanding the world makes my job even more rewarding. As much as you fulfilled and you have impacted my life, you are always impacting everyone's world and life around them. Congrats, and I wish you much success in the future.
Nate, it's all yours.
I'm not sure if Nate was in here.
Nate, are you on this call? Well, maybe will be coming later. So why don't we move on and we can come back and pick him up when he gets here. By the way, a number of our teachers and some of the students have other commitments this morning. So if you see somebody sneaking out the back door early, it's just because they're overcommitted. Right, Sue?
Yes, thank you. I'm off to the middle school. Thank you.
Okay, well, if Nate's not here yet, let's move on to our next student. Grace Konecki will be introduced by Gina Von Ville, who is a service learning English teacher at the high school and is very familiar to Rotary. She's been here a number of times. She's introduced other people and she's a member of the service learning. So Gina, it's all yours.
Good morning. I'm so thrilled. Can you guys hear me? Last year,
Yes.
trouble on this Zoom when I was introducing my student. So good morning, and thank you so much for having me, and thank you so much for all the support Rotary gives to service learning every year. As I always say, this is my favorite meeting of the year as well, and I've had the honor of actually participating in this meeting a number of times. And today I'm here to honor Grace Konecki, who, excuse me, who was one of my students last year in AP Language and Composition. Grace is actually the middle of a group of triplets, and I had all three last year in English and have gotten to know them very well. And if I could give you one characteristic of Grace, it would be that every single time you see her, she has a giant smile on her face. She walks into class looking overjoyed to be there. She sits in class and listens to me, listens to her peers with a great smile on her face. She participates in running, and even when you see her running, she has a huge smile on her face, which I think really speaks to her affect as someone who is just genuinely happy and at peace with the world. She gets along well with all of her peers and has a deep interest in learning, like an intrinsic interest, which oftentimes is really rare in today's world, where kids, I think, are forced into like a, checking boxes and doing the things that they have to do. Grace does things for school and for herself because she's truly interested. She is a writer. She participated in the writing of our school newspaper. She writes for pleasure. She writes in class, and she is judicious about everything that she writes, always looking to make it better, taking time, putting it away, coming back to it. In speaking, she's also judicious. She's one of my best listeners, and when she says something, she means it, and she says it definitively and thoughtfully, and speaks from the heart and creates relationships with people that I think those who are around her are so lucky to have. And of course, like every other student that you guys have selected, she's hardworking. She does everything you ask of her and goes above and beyond what you ask her to do. So it is my great pleasure to have had the opportunity to speak on behalf of Grace today. It is my great pleasure to have had the opportunity to have known her. And I know that as she moves on next year, she's going to do amazing things. So thank you so much, Grace, for choosing me, because it was truly a pleasure to have had the opportunity to know you.
Go ahead, Grace.
Okay. First of all, thank you so much, Mrs. Bonville. That was so sweet. It's been a complete honor to be one of your students, and I'm really gonna miss you next year. And I just thank you again for all the kind words. I just wanted to let the Rotary Club know of just how grateful I am for receiving this scholarship. It means a lot, especially because, like Mrs. Bonville mentioned, I am a triplet, and so I need as much financial aid as I can. It just means a lot, and make sure that I've taken the initiative to look for scholarship opportunities, and the Rotary Club has really helped me with that. I'm currently in the car on the way to my college orientation. I'm going to be attending Ohio University this upcoming fall, and I'm going to be a journalism major. And like Mrs. Bonville also said, I'm very, very passionate about writing. It's what I'm excited to keep college, and I just can't wait to see what the next 4 years brings me. So yeah, I just want to say once again, thank you so much for this opportunity and for the scholarship. It truly means a lot to me.
Well, thank you, Grace. Isn't technology wonderful? Here she is in the car going to college orientation, and yet she's able to participate in a Zoom meeting. Thank you very much, Grace.
Yes, of course.
Okay, next. Our next winner is Abby Zahn, and she's going to be introduced by Roberto Iriarty, who is the middle school orchestra leader. Roberto, it's all yours.
Well, good morning. Thank you for inviting me to take part in this. I've been involved in it several times in the past, including as a recipient of the scholarship back in 1989. So I'm thrilled to continue the circle and passing this back to my students. What I can say unique about Abby, like all of my students, is I get to see them for 7 years when they come through my door in 6th grade. So I literally get to watch them grow up in many ways over the time that we have together through orchestra. Abby is so unique as a musician. She has been an athlete. She excels in the classroom. She holds down jobs outside of school, and through all of it, she's as cool as a cucumber under any level of stress that she can be put through. I'm so thrilled that she's chosen a field to go into nursing, because she's exactly the kind of person I want to take care of people, because she handles things so calmly all of the time. In the years that I've known Abby, it's just been a pleasure to watch her blossom into such a strong young person, and seeing her excel musically and in all of her other ways. She culminated the year as our cello section leader this year. She's been on our trip to Europe 4 years ago, which is a big deal for a freshman to take them across the pond for 2 weeks in the summer. But again, handled everything with grace, and just always a pleasure to see Abby come into the classroom. And we've had some great conversations this year. She likes to come in early and help set up for the rehearsals. So congratulations to all the recipients, but especially to Abby. It's been a great 7-year journey.
Abby?
Hi, good morning,
You're on.
everybody. Like Mr. Yarte said, I mean, 7 years, it's been so wonderful, and you've left a resounding impact on me. And like he mentioned, I am going into nursing at Ohio State next year, and I am very much a people person. So I think this career is going to be very fitting for me, because I love just helping people and making people feel at least like, just like they're being taken care of, and like just smiling, laughing, etc. And I do hold a lot of jobs. I used to work at Farinacci's, and I currently am at Duncan in Northfield, and I'm just constantly keeping myself busy with my friends, my family, my job, school, etc. So, and thank you to the Rotary Club specifically for making this very possible for me to receive this scholarship, and I'm just so honored to be here. So thank you.
Well, thank you, Abby. And the scholarship committee was very impressed with your jobs. How many do you have at the same time? 3 or 4?
I had 2. I worked 2 jobs last summer, and I would go to Duncan in the morning and then have like a 2-hour break and go work in the evening. So yeah, I definitely was busy.
College will be easier. Good luck. Okay, let's move on. Our next student is Sam Arrigo, who is going to be introduced by Mark McConnell, who is the head coach of our cross-country, track, and field teams. Mark?
Thank you. Good morning. I'm here to introduce Sam Arrigo. I've been his head coach for 4 years now. Met him when he was a freshman. And from the start, Sam has always been one of the hardest workers on the team. He's always been a student of the sport. He's always one to ask questions, and that's never stopped. In 4 years, he's always learning and wants to learn, and he's developed into one of our finest leaders of our team. He's taken his hard work and his ability to challenge the coaches and ask questions to his ultimate level this year as a team captain. And he has always been an advocate for his teammates. When something it doesn't feel right, or he has questions or concerns for himself or any of his teammates, he's always the first to speak up about that. And he was one of the finest leaders we've had on our cross country and track programs. And he's also excelled on the course and on the track, earning PRs every season. And that speaks volumes to his work ethic. And I'm really just excited to kind of see what the future has for him. He's developed a foundation as a strong student athlete, and I look forward to seeing him apply those skills at the next level, and him earning this scholarship helps him get to that next level. So I do thank the Rotary Club for that, and it's my honor to introduce Sam Arrigo.
Sam, I think I saw you on a call here somewhere.
Yes, I'm here. Thank you, Coach. It's been an honor being on the cross country and track team for 4 years. I wouldn't have had it any other way. It's definitely really helped me get through high school and just really teach me work ethic, hard work really pays off. Just never give up. And it's helped me, make new social interactions too, which is something I did have a bit of trouble with in middle school. So I also want to thank the Rotary Club. This scholarship will definitely help me. I am going to attend OSU for engineering, specifically mechanical engineering in the fall. And I just really hope that the skills and the knowledge that I gain from OSU over the next 4 years will just help me make an impact. I really want to help create something or help just design something that can help other people, something that can make other people's lives better, because so many people have helped me make my life better, even if it's not through like physical objects, I guess. But I just feel like doing something to help someone, creating something to help other people is something that I think I would really like. It would make me feel fulfilled, I guess. So getting the scholarship will really help me, pursue that dream and help me be able to learn and pursue higher education. So thank you.
Well, thank you, Sam, and good luck next year. Our next student winner is Cole Osborne, and he's going to be introduced by Corey Barnes, who is computer literacy, government, language arts, and math teacher at the high school. Corey?
Hi, thank you, Rotary Club, for having me, and thanks, Cole, for considering me to be an influential teacher in your life. I've had the pleasure of knowing Cole for the past 9 years and have worked with him in a variety of settings and ways. And because of that, I could probably talk about him for probably an hour or 2 hours, but really when I thought about it, to narrow something down or to speak about Cole in a certain way, the thing that I thought was most important about him is that he's consistently put himself out of his comfort zone, whether it's work skills or academic skills or anything like that. He's consistently putting himself out of his comfort zone, and I think no matter who you are, that's such an important quality to have. The story, and I have about 1 million stories about Cole, most of which he probably doesn't want to share or doesn't want me to share, but the story that I think is really talks about Cole best is we have an adaptive theater program called Our Time to Shine, and he's always on the crew. So he's always doing the set. You can probably see it nice and messy over here. But he's normally in the crew and painting and doing all those behind the scenes things because public speaking and being in front of a large group is not necessarily his favorite. In the fall, we had a digital performance, and the amount of people that we had was limited. So at the 11th hour, we were going to videotape every person saying their line and then clip it together. Cole doesn't love speaking or being on camera necessarily, but again, at the 11th hour, we lost our narrator. So narrator has about 1 million lines and is going to be in front of the camera quite a bit. And he's never read any of those lines. And I had to go to him when he was working and say, Cole, like, I need a narrator right now. And I think he saw the desperation on my face and knew that I was in trouble. And he immediately just said, sure. And I think that just speaks to his willingness to put himself out of his comfort zone and also just care about the people around him. So congratulations, Cole. I'm so proud of you, and best of luck at Kent State.
Cole, you're on the call. There you are.
My name is Cole Osborne, and my disability is autism. I graduated this spring from Hudson High School. I have been accepted to the Kent State CCS program. I choose this program. It is close to my home, and my twin sister goes there. This program will help me be more independent in my job and my living skills. I worked hard this year and I feel happy I was accepted, lived in Hudson I live Hudson with my family and I like bowling and watching videos. I work at the Twinsburg Giant Eagle. I gather cards and stock the HBC. After college, I want to either live with my family or by myself in an apartment. I want to work at a job of my choosing. I want to take painting art and woodworking classes, and I want to continue doing my special bowling, Olympics, bowling, skiing, and golfing. Thank you, Thank you for the scholarship. Thank you, Mr. Barnes, for all you have done for me.
Great presentation, Cole. To the Rotary Club, I think you can see why the scholarship committee was so impressed with Cole. And we appreciate your perseverance. And I know you're going to do well at Kent State next fall. Okay, going to our sixth winner, Alisa right now, is going to be introduced by Megan Petrosky, who is honors English at the high school.
Hi, good morning. Can everyone hear me okay?
Yes, you're fine.
Perfect. Okay, I was having some internet troubles earlier, and I apologize. I'm at home with a newborn, so I've been kind of on and off cameras. I've been like shushing and rocking and all of that. She's 8 weeks old today. I'm actually still on maternity leave, if you're wondering why I'm a teacher in my basement on a couch. But thank you so much for having me. Alisa, thank you so much for nominating me as someone that had an impact on your life. I get really teary and emotional at these things normally, and especially now with the pregnancy hormones, but I'm gonna try to hold it together. As much as Alisa says I've had an impact on her, she certainly had an impact on me as well. And I wanna just read a little bit from the recommendation that I wrote for her. It's my distinct pleasure to introduce Alisa to everyone today. She's not only a natural leader who possesses accomplished academic ability, but she also possesses intellectual flexibility and distinct ambition. And I think all of those things were especially important this year. Alisa was a vital member of my English 10 class, so I first met her as a sophomore, and I've been consistently impressed with her intelligence and ability ever since. She's the kind of student every teacher dreams of having in their class. She possesses a rare capacity to advocate for herself. She expresses her ideas eloquently, and she takes advantage of enrichment initiatives. Alisa always committed wholeheartedly to any and all of my class activities and antics, and I knew that I could count on her to take a leadership role during group work. So even as a sophomore, I was already seeing that leadership potential. And while she could lead vocally, I think many of her leadership capacities lie in her actions. I was so impressed on multiple occasions to watch Alisa's peers looking to her to set the standards for achievement. And I think that says a ton about the kind of human being that Alisa is. And when we were having something like a Socratic seminar, for example, she not only came prepared with evidence from text, but also from her real life. And she was making deep connections, and just watching her peers' faces as she spoke, you could tell they were like, oh, wow, I didn't think of that. And I can confidently say that, Alisa was not just a scholar, leader, and role model in my class, but in every aspect of her existence. One glance at her schedule and her extracurriculars would confirm this. She's a member of our Drug-Free Clubs of America. She's a mentor for underclassmen through our Huddle program. She is the head dancer for the marching band. She's involved in the Italian club. And as if all those school extracurriculars didn't keep her busy enough, she also dances competitively. And I think these are great attributes of Alyssa, but most importantly, she possesses strong interpersonal skills, integrity, and empathy. She embraces diversity and has a desire to interact with all her peers in a variety of ways. She's developed strong morals and holds true to them in all situations. She not only wants the best for herself, but for everyone around her as well. Hudson High School was a better place because Alyssa walked through its doors each day. And I know that she's going to take that same amazing energy to a college next fall. So it's my distinct pleasure to introduce to you this morning, Alyssa.
Alyssa?
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Mrs. Petrasco, for your kind words and for waking up early with a newborn to present me. And thank you, everyone on Rotary, for being here this morning and welcoming all the students of the scholarship recipients and for recognizing each student individually. I'm the youngest of 3 older brothers who have all in college or have graduated from college. I am a competitive dancer at Kibler Dance Academy. I've been dancing since I was about 3 years old. I will be furthering my education at Ohio University this fall, where I will be majoring in early childhood and elementary education. And choosing this major, I wanted a major where I can influence other people's lives like Mrs. Petrasca and so many other teachers have influenced my life. Thank you all.
Thank you, Alyssa. Well, what's it like growing up in a family where you have 3 older brothers?
It's a little
Must
crazy.
be a bit of a challenge.
A bunch of sport events, but it's fun.
Good. Well, good luck next year. Has Nathan Nurchi joined the talk yet? Nate, are you with us? Doesn't look like he made it this morning. We'll see if we can catch up with him somewhere
Dan-
down the road.
Dan,
Yes,
I sent him an email and a text.
okay, that's what we can do. Catherine, we have a couple of questions in the chat box. You want to deal with
No,
those?
all we have is a message from Roberto saying that he thanked us and for helping him out, and he had to go to class. I mean,
I have a question. I have a question for Abby. Music has been such an important part of your life. How do you see that going forward?
So yeah, I mean, music has absolutely just helped me grow. So I plan to, when I'm off at school, at least join some sort of like community orchestra or for the school or something, because it really does mean a lot to me. And I plan to just further that education because it's something I really treasure and I want to share if I have kids or a husband or something like that. I think that's really meaningful. And music is, I'm personally like, none of my family has any connection with music. So I'm actually one of the first. So it's something that I like, that's very unique to me, at least in my family. And I want to keep that going. So I'll figure it out, but for now, I think it's going to be something with like a community orchestra.
Well, you might find a small group that you could play with as well.
Yeah.
Like a group of 4 where it can really be fun. Music brings such discipline to this all. This is just really, really incredible to hear that story. Same with Alyssa. Alyssa, I can imagine that the movement studies and the dance that you've done will be really appreciated with working with young students. Do you want to talk about that just a little bit? Because you started when you were very young.
Yeah, so, and again, picking a major, it was kind of a difficult decision because I mean, this is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. So I wanted to pick one that I'm going to enjoy. And just thinking about Mrs. Petrasca, she was probably my biggest influence on picking a major. And from starting dance at a young age, I know that the people you first meet in your life really are going to influence you and keep going. And I want to pass on the skills Mrs. Petrasca has taught me at a sophomore year, so a somewhat younger age, and apply that to teaching younger kids and also reflecting on my dance teachers' lives and how they've impacted me at such a young age. And I want to influence students so that when they're older, they'll remember me.
James Field has posted a question. James, would you like to introduce your question, please?
Okay, well, first of all, congratulations to everyone. And I think we had a couple of the teachers and coaches who actually also attended Hudson as Roberto did. So it's really good to see our students come back and teach and help out. But my question was, okay, so you've had a pretty tough year with COVID-19, but I'm wondering if there's any learnings that you had from this year of mixed remote and in-class sessions. You know, anything that you take away that you maybe really did benefit from? That could be to any of the students.
Have any responses? Too profound a question, James.
When we interviewed Abby, one of the things that I thought was really interesting was that she called coffee as her perfume from working at Dunkin'. So they give us all these really facts that tell us about them, but every once in a while we get a little bit of humor in there too, which is really nice to see their personalities.
As Ron indicated, it's really a pleasure to interview the students. And every year we do that. Last year, because of the virus, we could not, and I missed that. This year we said we're going to interview regardless. So we had our mask. We got to talk to every one of the final candidates. And I personally enjoyed that very much. Any other questions from the Rotary? Any comments from any of our scholarship winners? Well, if not, let me again congratulate the winners of the Thomas Page Memorial Scholarships. We wish you well as you start your college career this fall. And I know you will be very successful. And hopefully we'll see you back in a Rotary meeting somewhere in the future. With that, let's turn it back to Marilyn Orr, our president.
Well, I would like to invite Steve Page to address the group just real briefly on behalf of the Page family.
I am so impressed with your organization, your Rotary Club. As I mentioned at the preliminaries, I had the honor of attending one of your meetings back a number of years ago now. Turns out it's about 10 years ago. And when Tom was just finishing up his presidency of your club. What do you say about a guy who's one of the nicest guys in the whole wide world? That's my brother, Tom. We do live a distance from each other, but we always try to get with each other. Be it down in Florida, we owned a condominium together, and we would share that with our families. We'd go to, I went up and went to a Cleveland game with him. Not a Cleveland fan, I'm a Packer fan, but so is Tom, I think. I don't know. Anyway, he was the kind of fella that you liked immediately. He was always inquisitive, wanted to know about you more than about him. I think that's Tom. I think his training as a school teacher and the teachers that have been on this program this morning bodes itself well for the kind of person he was. He always wanted to help people, always. And his wife Dottie, I remember when they got married. I mean, I knew Dottie when she was not Dottie Page, but Dottie Rendell. And I will be seeing her in the next week or so for the memorial service for Tom. But it's just been a real honor to be a part of this organization that you are a part of, and to be just to enjoy this recognition that you have given Tom, and to the students that have received scholarships. Congratulations to you, and thank you all very much.
This meeting is being recorded, and I'm very, very pleased to have members of Tom's family here. James, could we show the picture just real quickly? Tom is remembered in our community, and his memorial service has been rescheduled to Saturday, June 12th at 3 o'clock at the First Congregational Church here in Hudson. He still is well regarded within our group. And here's a photo. Now, if you'll notice, Tom's right in the middle. right in the middle of things. And this is a photo from a number of years back, I believe perhaps when Joe Avila was president of our organization. But there's Tom right in the middle between Ron Strogel and Gail Royster. And that's the way he liked it. He liked being right in the middle. And in his honor, his family has placed a bench and planted a tree at one of our favorite places. And here is Ben Rexroad checking out the bench. It faces the small island in Hudson Springs Park. So he is well regarded within our community and well loved here. And I suspect that this is not the only time that we're going to be talking about Tom. I also suspect that perhaps we might have just started a new tradition to actually name our scholarship after the wonderful people who have been members of our Rotary Club. Well,
Marilyn?
Yes.
I would just like to make a comment since Steve has joined us this morning. As many of you know, Tom and I work together, but Steve and I worked together longer. As a matter of fact, from 1972 to, well, or even before that, until 1979, we were all working at Bucyrus Erie. And so Steve, it's great to see you again. Steve and his wife and children were really good friends of Sue and I when we were in Evansville. And then when we moved here and when Tom and Dottie moved here, Sue came home from a ladies club meeting or something and said that she had met Dottie Page and didn't we know them from Evansville. And so it's been really an amazing relationship with their family throughout the years. Thank you.
It's a small world, isn't it? Such a small world. Well, I'd like to remind everyone that next week, this Saturday, we are doing the Scout cleanup. And as we're talking about Scouts, you know, we've got a great relationship with the Scouts. And last week, we ran a little short on some of our recorded time. And so I'm going to ask Andy Morris to please give us just a quick update as to where we are with the Scout cabin. As most of you know, the Scout cabin at the corner of 303 and 91 was actually built by our Rotary Club. It was the first service project that they had in 1931. Who would imagine that in the middle of a depression, these guys would be so forward thinking? So Andy, can you tell us a little bit about what's happening out there?
Thanks, Marilyn. Yeah, I just want to bring everybody up to date a little bit here. We are working as a club on the restoration. We are a very diverse group from the standpoint that we have tried to bring in community, Scouts, the Hudson Heritage Association through its president, Chris Bach, who's also an architect. So getting a little bit of the help that way too, so that the input for the restoration, we believe, should be a complete package that is going to help establish what needs to be done right now, but also in the future for the cabin. The other thing that we are doing is very much trying to bring in ways for the whole community to partake in this. And then by that, I mean, from a financial commitment standpoint, that we are looking towards not just the Scouts, not just the past alumni, past Eagles, but also looking to, and obviously not just the Rotary, but looking to the community, looking to some foundations, looking to corporations, and a broad range for the support on this very major project. Our goal is, just like we built it back in 1931, is to now give the legacy 90 years later, all of the financial support necessary to keep going for another 90 years. So that is part of what we're doing. Under the leadership of both Marilyn and incoming President Pat, we have a tight time frame, and that's established a little bit by the twofold. One is the needs of things that need to be done, as well as just the whole desire to use this as part of the fundraiser, to use it this summer to get people involved. So James, you got the great picture there of the scout cabin the way it used to be. I'm not even sure what the date on that one is, but it's before the roof started to sag, and and some of the other issues came in there.
Andy, I think you took this picture.
Could be. Yeah, I think I'll blame it on Jay. We've got obviously Jay is a part of the community, and he's doing a remarkable job of trying to get the marketing material and everything else out for both the club and everything else.
Marilyn, we have Nate on the Zoom.
Excellent, excellent. Let's hear from Nate.
Is his teacher still on? Dan?
I don't believe so.
No, Sue had to leave to go to another commitment. So Nate, if you're there, why don't you join us? Tell us about yourself.
Hi everyone. I'm so sorry that I was late today. I'm so happy to be here. I'm so grateful for this, the Hudson Rotary Scholarship. I mean, this is going to go a long way in terms of, I'm going to OU this year for energy engineering. So I'm going to focus in renewability and sustainability in systems. And I see Ms. Beck in the chat right here just asked about the new roof would be solar on the scout cabin. I am a Eagle Scout from Troop 321. And, you know, I haven't heard anything about the roof being solar. That would be super cool if it was. In marching band, I was head senior squad leader this year for the band of around 250 members. So it's basically like the football captain for the band, which is really, really cool to be this year, especially during COVID. I mean, it was a difficult time through all the bringing everyone together and keeping everyone safe. But I think in the end, we ended up having a really fun year and a really safe year. And I'm very thankful to have been a part of that.
Nate, can you tell us about your Eagle project?
Yes, I can. So at the Hudson High School, there is a portion of the Tinkers Creek watershed that underwent a restoration a couple years back. And when they did that restoration, a couple signs were put up about what is about the history of the project and why they did it. But they didn't really explain anything about what's going on actually in the watershed. And that's what I wanted to base my Eagle project off of. So I built a sign that explained the invasive species present in Hudson and in this portion of the watershed, how to identify them and how to remove them. So it's bringing that portion of the watershed back to natural Ohio like plant life, you know, instead of having these invasive species. So that was just my project, was to identify those. So it is along the walking path near the high school along the Tinkers Creek watershed.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. I like that.
Thank you.
I like that. That's impressive. Thank you for joining us this morning, and congratulations.
Thank you for having me.
We hope that you'll be involved with scouting in the future. Okay. Those little cubbies occasionally need leaders. Okay, we are getting close to ending our meeting this morning. Again, I would like to thank the Page family for joining us. I'd like to thank all of the scholarship winners and especially our committee. You've done an outstanding job of identifying worthy students, and it's such a pleasure again to meet them all and to experience their enthusiasm as they move forward from this. Next week, we will be welcoming Gwen Mayer, the archivist at the Hudson Library and Historical Society, and a true asset to our community. She will be talking about Hudson and its role in the Civil War. What a great way to kick off History Month. I'd like to remind you again, this Saturday is Scout Cleanup. You're going to be entering through the Camp Manitowoc entrance on Truxell Road. And I'd like to remind everyone that there has been a road closure in Peninsula between 303 and Truxell Road. So the best way to get there actually is to turn south or left as you approach the 303 and Old 8 and come in via Kendall Park Road. On Saturday morning, it's a beautiful time to take a little ride through the national park, and you'll be going past the Virginia Kendall Lake and the ledges. It's such a pretty drive. And you will then come about, you'll come on that entrance to the park there. We'll meet at the swimming pool. And just a reminder, they will be feeding us. So have a little coffee and in the morning, and we'll see you there. We always close our meetings with a look back at this day in history. And in 455 on this day, the Vandals began the sacking of Rome. It took 14 days, and it was never the same. In 1901, Benjamin Adams was arrested for playing golf in New York on a Sunday. In 1935, future Baseball Hall of Fame slugger Babe Ruth announced his retirement as a player at the age of 40. That was ancient in those days. In 1953, this was the coronation date for Queen Elizabeth II in Westminster Abbey in London, England. And in 1989, 10,000 Chinese soldiers were blocked by 100,000 students and citizens in Tiananmen Square in Beijing, protecting students demonstrating for democracy. So it was an interesting time, a very interesting time. I very vividly remember a photo of a man standing and facing down a tank. That will forever be part of my memory of that day. So again, thank you to Dottie and to Steve for joining us this morning. It was terrific to have you come and see us. Dottie, if you'd like to share any comments, now's the time. We have just a few minutes left, but again, thank you for joining us. This meeting is recorded. It will be available on Facebook and our YouTube channel. It will be showing on HCTV next week. Also, a very memorable meeting was recorded on July 22nd last year. That was a meeting in which John Adams interviewed several of our Rotarians, including Tom Page. And he closed his segment.
Can you hear me?
Sure, I can hear you, Dottie.
Okay. You know
Yes.
what? I think I had it muted before. I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
Tom, oh my gosh, our whole family is just kind of blown away about this award to have these scholarships for these most worthy students. He was not one to, I mean, he liked being in the center of things and doing things, but like service of oneself meant so much to him that I think he'd be embarrassed to think that a scholarship got named after him when so many of you Rotarians, present and past and continuing in the future, have done probably as much as Tom through the years and everything. But I just want to say thank you. And for you students, you go out and do the best you can, and who knows what you'll become in the future. And just work hard and successes will come your way. Thank you.
Thank you, Dottie. Those are very sweet comments. I'm looking forward to spending some time with you. Okay. Well, it is now 8:30. It's time to conclude our meeting. And thank you very much, everyone, for attending. Wasn't this fun? Bye.
Bye.